Hey everyone, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video today. Hopefully you'll enjoy what you see here, and you can also check out our channel. There's a lot more videos, educational, fun, all kinds of videos that we do. Please subscribe. Just hit that little button below and you can catch our videos every time we release one. You'll get notified. And so today we just want to take you through a kind of a prequel process. It's not too long ago we put out several videos on insole preparation. Now the insole is the basic bones of your custom-made cowboy boot. All right, this is the most integral part of the bottoming, and when you get the boot all ready to put together, this is kind of, again, the bones, the skeleton, the very integral part that holds the boot together. Today, this is a pre-process that we do before we actually prepare or trim the insole and pre-punch the holes and all of those things that you saw in those other videos. And it all starts with the insole going on the last. So we use a very nice pre-cut insole. This is about a 10-11 iron insole from Keystone Leather. Now this is a domestic company. Keystone's great. We love the guys up there, and they do cut a very nice insole. Generally you get these in and they're just ready to go. So all you got to do is put them in the water and get them good and soft, and then you will put them on your last. It's just really that simple. So insole, last, and again the insole will be wet, and then you have to dry it. Well, how do you do that? A lot of guys put them out in the sunlight. We used to do that, but there is an important tool that we use now that my dad built, and it's something that allows us to speed up the process of drying. Dry time is notoriously boring. So it also helps your efficiency to be able to speed that process up. So what we've done is we've built a hot box. This is a simple box with a hair dryer wired to it. So I want to show you that, and we also have some, you probably hear it in the background, we have some insoles drying right now, and we're going to take those out and show you how that is done. Okay, so here is the hot box. You see several holes drilled through the door. That's for breathing. You don't want to enclose it completely. You want to breathe some, so moisture is coming in and out. Heat, of course, is coming in and out. Here's the switch. Simply, we wired in a hair dryer. There's a hole cut in the top of this box. Hair dryer sticking in the top of it. It's that simple. And we just wired it to a switch. You open it up, and here is our insole on the last. Okay, and it's really that simple. This hot box, you probably would never leave anything in here for more than 45 minutes. Generally 20 to 30. You'll check and see how dry, how wet still is. But again, you want to make sure you don't burn things up, because if you leave it in there too long, it will do that. So now I'm going to show you how we basically trim out the insoles that have been dried on the last. So here we go. So as you see, the elastic, we use a pretty wide, about a 2.5 inch elastic. This is really good elastic. This elastic's been around here for probably 7-8 years, and we've used it extensively. You can pick this up a lot of different places, fabric stores, probably lots of places online you can buy this elastic. But simply just bind your last and your insole with this elastic, and then we just wrap it around itself, and that way we can pull it off here real easily. And as you can see, it really forms the leather to the last, which is what you want. You're really trying to get that feather line, which is the the line where your outside edge of your last meets the insole. You want to get that to where it's cupped all the way around. What that allows is something much different than the factories. Okay, a factory will put on a dry insole, much like this, okay, and simply nail it with a nail gun and build the boot around the last. We, of course, because we're doing these custom, we're wet molding, what we call wet molding these insoles. That wet molded insole, once it's dried, it stays in that arch. So normally when you get a pair of custom boots, for the first few days it feels like there's a softball in your arch, and it's only because that insole stays up into the arch. You see the heel nail nailed through the hole in the metal plate, okay, and that nail, and then just 3 more, and that's all you have to have. When you trim this insole, always leave about 3/8 of an inch around the edge of your last. Why? Well, notoriously these things will shrink, okay? So once they're filled with water and then they're dry, they shrink up. So the last thing you want is for that insole to shrink beyond the feather line, and then you've defeated your purpose. So be careful when you trim. And now that you see that the insole is on there, we are ready to trim this. Okay, so we don't use a knife to trim our insoles, and I know that a lot of you do. That's fine. We have just found that it is generally much safer because this insole leather is very, very rigid, very dense, difficult to cut, hard on a blade. So because we have our grinder here with 24 grit sandpaper, we're going to let it do the job for us. And some people, again, this is a thing that you'll have to get used to, is a lot of people are scared of getting into the last. Okay, so when you're trimming it, you don't want to necessarily get that 24 grit sandpaper into the last that you've prepared over the last few days. You have to be careful, and you have to learn how to get close but not too close, and then this is a process, so there's a lot of cutting, fine sanding, and then again with the 24 grit. So we're going to fire the grinder up and show you exactly how we do this. Trimmed down to the feather line. Again, the feather line is where the shoulder of the forepart of the last here meets the edge of the insole. All right, you see I barely touched the edge of my buildup here, but you see I've got these two sections here. Okay, these two sections are, again, the crucial part. This is where we were talking about the wet molded insole that goes up into the arch. So that is the most important part of our insole, and we want to trim this out carefully, not too deep, not too far in, but again, we don't want to leave a lot of material out here. And here's why: because you've probably made a pair of boots or seen a pair of boots where the insole was cut too wide, and it shows on the outside of the boot once your boot is done. It's not a good thing. It's kind of a wasted material. It gets in the way and causes issues. All right, so we want to trim this thing pretty accurately. Well, how do we do that? Well, I have trimmed enough of them to where I can generally eyeball it. So you'll see where the end of the metal heel plate is. We're just going to keep that line going. And you can see, you just translate it all the way to the feather line. Alright? Really quick, I'll show you that again. And once you get it scored, it's really not that hard to cut. Alright? Again, I've done this a few times, so it's pretty easy. Alright. Now to check yourself, what you want to do is to make sure that that line is straight across. If it humps up like this, there's too much insole there. You got to cut that out. You don't want it to go too deep. So again, if you have to cut twice, that's alright. You want that line, that feather line, to keep going straight and follow the contour of the last. So we have a standard 1 5/8" heel last here. That looks really good. And really, that's as simple as it is. You can see what it looks like here. Now, same thing on the other side. This is not nearly as difficult because you're really not having to cut this far up. You see, with a sharp knife, that's really easy. Now, we'll come back in with a non-keg sander and smooth all that out. Alright, so you see the insole. This is after I've gotten everything ready to do the rest of the prep. Trimming is done. You see how this is rolled. Alright, so literally just taking the non-keg and rolling that like that. And what that does is it keeps any tall edges or any uncomfortable things that might happen in the insole, keeps that to a minimum. So this is a nice gentle roll. Alright, here you got your standard tall edges because you're going to cut your hole fast. That is your insole as we get it ready for the rest of the preparation, which is the hold fast and the holes, which we already have videos again below. You can check those out on our channel. There's I think 3 insole prep videos. This will now become the prequel, and by your request we're putting this video out because many of you wanted to see how we do this part of the process. So just in quick review, insoles. This is a 1011 iron insole from Keystone. Again, you have your regular last, whatever last that you're using, you've prepped, and you're going to put that in the water for about 30 to 45 minutes. Again, you're going to nail that to your last, and then you're going to use elastic. You're going to bind that insole to your last, and then you're either going to put it out in the sunlight or you're going to put it in the hot box. Whatever you want to do there, it would be great. And we just prefer the hot box because it cuts time, and again, time equals money for us and doesn't hurt the insole at all. And then the last thing, you're going to, once that's dry, you're going to trim carefully with your 24 grit sandpaper on your grinder, and then you're going to smooth out with your non-keg, and then you're going to trim out with a nice sharp blade. This one was custom made for us. This is a Bites blade. We'll put the information up there for you guys to check out, but this is a really perfect blade for not only cutting the insole, but this is also perfect for cutting the channel. This is the same knife you'll see us use in those videos. But that's it. It's really that simple, and I think that you'll find that once you do this once or twice, you'll get the hang of it. And again, if you have any questions, you can email us at support@ethoscustombrands.com. We'll have that email here for you. Please subscribe to our channel so you can check out more videos like this, and we'll see you again very soon.
Bye.